There. Welcome to the mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. right here on Love 101 FM, the number one gospel station in the nation, celebrating 30 years and still going very, very strong. So the program today is brought to you by the kind sponsorship of Fosrich Company Limited. I am Kevin Bailey, your co-host, and I got my co-host with me, Courtney, for another week. What a god!
Hey Kevin, good evening, good afternoon to everyone. I'm Courtney Morrison. And together with Kevin, we are your regular hosts for the program, The Mailbox. Yes, and we are brethren from long, long time, Can you imagine? From the days of Youth for Christ.
Hey,
That's in
yeah.
the late 80s, early 90s. And the friendship has continued to be so. And God would have us together again on the mailbox. So, guess what? Today's program, we're going to be discussing how deep is friendship you share with your brother? Can two brothers really share a love friendship and one that is close? You know your male friends. Do you talk? Do you get along? Or do you choose not to get along? Are there stigmas attached to it and so you are afraid? How solid is the friendship? Do you know their struggles? And that's what today's program is all about. The call for deeper male friendships. I'm saying man not talk. But we are going to explore that today. And our special guests for today are in the form of Pastor Paul Hemmings and Dwayne Leon. And we'll hear from them shortly. Kev, you're excited about that one, huh? Yeah, we're going to be talking a bit. How was your weekend? How did you spend your weekend, Kevin? Doesn't seem like Kev is hearing
Well,
at
it
all.
has. Yeah, yes, Courtney. It has been a great weekend. There at Marvelly Gospel Hall with the brethren, and great fellowship connecting with family. And as you say that, I have to wish happy birthday to two of my sisters-in-law, Blondell and Windell. Blondell Wilson
Hey,
Henry and Windell Norton. Yeah, so they are twins, and I want to wish them all the very, very best, and regular listeners to the mailbox as well. So, Courtney, how was yours?
mine was good. I attended Transform Life Church on the Sunday, listened in to Pastor Paul Hemmings to be exact. He spoke on the topic of resilience. And I know he's from Highgate there somewhere, but we're going to be hearing more from him. But, it's not yet her birthday, but her birthday will be on Friday, March 3. That's my daughter, Candice Chloe Morrison. So I'm giving a big shout out before Friday because I know that Friday, with your age, Friday might reach and you might not remember. Candice Chloe, happy birthday on Friday when it comes. Enjoy yourself, girl.
It
But it was a good weekend. It was
Great,
really.
great. I wonder, am I tripping in and out, Courtney?
I am not so sure if you're
Yes,
chipping
Courtney.
in and out
I
as
just
much
want to
as it
double check.
is
Are you
a
hearing me?
sound problem. It is very, very, very low. But let's hope it improves as we go along. So, man and man, guess what? Want to remember that to hear from you. We're live on Facebook via YouTube as well. So Facebook and YouTube, we're live via those two platforms at Love 101 FM. You can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125 or give us a call at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. That's coming up.
Yes, and ladies, we welcome your participation. You can participate in the program by leaving us a message via our WhatsApp or Facebook, YouTube. Females, remember, no calls or voice notes allowed. But inside the show today, we have the favorite folder, the inbox, the junk mail, and much more. So you're inside the mailbox. We will take a break and we'll be right back after this.
I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man. I am a man. I am a man. I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man. Hey man. I am a man. I am a man. I am a man,
Is your spouse actively involved in the life of the church and work? Is your marriage suffering due to a lack of balance? Well, join us this Thursday, March 2 at 5:30 p.m. for the truly marvelous program To Have and to Hold with host Colleen Beckles and guest Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint for a discussion on strategies to balance marriage, work, and church. That's To Have and to Hold Thursday, March 2 at 5:30 p.m. with Colleen Beckles and guest Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint right here on the family station Love 101.
When you say phosphorus, you say electrical. SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say phosphorus, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say phosphorus, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Phosphorus is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Manville, and Montego Bay. Phosphorus.
I am a man. I am a man. I am a man, yes. Strong man.
Welcome back. Welcome back. You're listening to the program, The Mailbox. I'm Pastor Courtney Morrison along with my co host, Kevin Bailey. We're here celebrating 30 years of Love 101 FM, Family Foundation Music, giving the wind a mighty voice. And we have been on the mailbox for 10 years, and come this year, it will be 11. Can you imagine? So, number enough asks if me and Kevin are good brethren, our friends. And today we have with us, and it is our favorite folder that we want to touch on now. And I want to touch our favorite folder where it is not necessarily right or wrong, but we want to also bring in our guests to be a part of this topic. And it is about men and doctors visit. So we want to bring in Pastor Paul Hemmings and Brother Dwayne Leon, because we want to hear their comments on this, because inside our favorite folders, we want to hear their thoughts on this one. Hey, Kevin, when I saw Pastor Paul at Transform Life on Sunday, is one person I remember, is you. I thought it was you up there in a different form, but we're going to hear more from him today. Exciting gentleman, So I just want to remind our listeners that we're live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM. You can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125. Now, today, we Lord men who choose to visit the doctor for checkups amidst the cliche that men don't like to visit the doctor. But unlike tropes about refusing to ask for directions or put away their laundry, this one has serious health ramifications. Not my words, it's the script. Kev.
Okay. Yes, I tell you, we're in for a great time with Pastor Paul and Dwayne.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Great to be here. Give thanks. Give
Yeah,
thanks.
man. Yeah, man.
Welcome.
Good to have.
And
Thank you for
just
having
want
us.
to say, yes, great to have you, Dwayne. Great to have you, Paul. It's a fact that men are less likely than women to get preventive screenings and seek timely medical care or be vaccinated. And for the flu, men also have shorter lifespans than women. Although reasons for the life expectancy gap are complex, biology explains only part of it said Wisdom Powell, director of Yukon Health, talking there about men. And so we want to have this conversation. That means not only are they reluctant to, honestly, once they're there, men believe I have to put on this front and I have to be consistently strong. I can't be seen as weak. I can't be seen as emotional because if I am, I'm going to lose social status. Gentlemen, could you share your perspective? Want to start with you, Dwayne?
Well, I feel like I trapped in a little corner there, so because there's a part of me that once believed that, you know what I mean? Um, yeah, any sign of weakness would be frowned upon. I mean, it's almost like you're looking back at yourself and saying, "No, sir, you can't, sir." But I guess, as you grow older, as you mature, as you come to grips with your own mortality in a way, you know what I mean? Um, you realize that your time here is limited. You know what I mean? When we're 20, we're not thinking about that kind of thing. But when we're touching our 40s now, you say, boy, you feel like a pain here. You wake up with pains that you never went to bed with, kind of thing. And you say, boy, let me check it out. But it is true. I mean, we do have a sort of reluctance to see any doctor. And maybe a part of it is we don't want a bad news.
Mm.
You know what I mean? I'd actually put up a status the other day on a version of mine saying when teeth it. I said, when I look in the mirror, I see who God created and who I mismanaged. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
I like that.
and that speaks as well to just even the care of our bodies as we go along. Because like I said, when we're younger, we feel like, yeah, I'll be here forever. But then, as things go on, you realize that it's not so.
What for truth that? What for truth? That's
Yep.
Dwayne Hardo Leon speaking. Pastor Paul Hemmings, what's
Yes,
your
sir.
perspective on this one here?
Well, when it comes on to doctor's visitation, I am not the typical man. I love good doctor. Um, I once I feel like I'm not so well, I want to go to the doctor, and that might have been as a result of the early passing of my father, and he died from diabetes,
Okay.
and I was age 15 at the time, and so your mortality hit you from even then. And so I think that has been a trigger for me. So anytime I have anything that is prolonged, I find my doctor, man. I don't care who wants to say anything, but I find my doctor. So I'm not the typical man where that is concerned. But doing said it right that it could be that we are afraid of what we may hear. And so that in itself can be just devastating for us as men, We rather not hear, sir. We in here can't kill it.
When I hear can kill you, that's not true. But Pastor Paul and Sir Dwayne Hardo Leon, my
Yes,
question
sir.
is, what is it that drives the fear in men? Mainly because, as is said by Himmelstein here, that they're afraid to be seen as weak. What is that underlying factor that causes men to come to the conclusion that they would be seen as weak? Because probably if we get to that, the root of that, we probably would solve this whole problem. What you
Well,
think is
but
causing that fear?
Courtney, I will tell you this. My root is found in a different type of soil, right? And I'm going to say this. I'm not the typical man. When I was younger, I used to be a hospital and doctor regular because I used to mash up myself. I mean, I think my last major accident, I remember my father was up at UA, in accident and emergency. My whole knee open out and all kind of thing. And
Oh,
he was over the what you call it, the bed. And him just kind of looking at me. And me I say, you look bad, don't. And him say, boy, I'm used to this. I just remember those words, be used to this. Because my first broken bone was when I was 4, right? And I've had a couple over the years. head boss, which I think is like a typical Jamaican man thing. All our boss wear that, something like that. You know what I mean? And so I've had more stitches than I care to count. So for me, I guess I used to say to myself, boy, I go through all of that, I'm still there. I don't need to go on a doctor. So it's actually rooted in a sort of egotistical. I'll be all right. I survive that. I must can survive something else. You understand?
Yeah.
But it's not
Yeah.
until I was actually after the accident and thing, I was diagnosed with hypertension. And you
Mm.
start to kind of look at the impact of these kind of lifestyle diseases and them kind of things, and you look at yourself and you say, boy, Bridging, maybe there is something out there that can take you out, and
Mm.
maybe you need to be aware of this. So I'm not going to say that I am the most active when it comes down to why this hurt or whatever, so I'm going to the doctor. But I think I do it. I try to stay from a regime, especially when it comes down to the medication and that sort of stuff. But to say, boy, I will go regularly. 'Cause right now, man, confession good for the soul. I have a executive profile paper sit down that are supposed to go and do from time. But I'll get it done. I'll get it done by next week for sure. I have to do it. So I can't prolong it. You know what I mean?
Aye.
Bye
Yeah.
But
and bye.
yeah, look like I touch a nerve there, sir. Touch a little card.
But could that
That
fear
is.
I
to
have a feeling so, Dwayne.
Pastor Paul, thanks
Yes,
very
Paul.
much, Dwayne. Pastor
Wow.
Paul, what is it that Himmelstein could say? I can't be seen as weak. I can't be seen as emotional because if I am, I'm going to lose social status. Why do men see going to the doctor as being weak? What has caused that stigma? What has caused that stereotype in so many men that they refuse to go to the doctor? I don't think it's a matter of that them don't want to find out so them sick, but it's a matter of seeing it as weak, as the study says.
well, we tell ourselves that we can bounce back. In fact, and that's a good thing. But at least I think we take it to a illogical extreme. But we tell ourselves we will bounce back. Remember when you fell from a tree when you were playing football and your knee, what we call chip up kind of a thing. You didn't quite run home to address it. You just kind of take some leaf, wipe it off, take your hand, wipe water, wash it off, kind of thing. And you're back on the field again. You're back on the tree again, kind of a thing. So you tell yourself, I guess it's kind of born out of that sociologically. You tell yourself, I'm going to bounce back. So when you're sick with flu or something like that, you just tell yourself that I can push through this. In fact, the fact that I'm feeling pain and all along I've been managing pain, but now in my old age or 30s, 40s, I'm feeling this pain. I can push through the pain kind of a thing. And we finally get to the doctor when things are to the just critical, and our loved ones say no more of this foolishness, we're going to carry it to the doctor kind of thing, because we tell ourselves I can push through this, I can manage this pain, I have a great pain threshold,
Mm-hmm.
and I can pull through this. I think that's what we tell ourselves, and it applies to even emotional pain and all of that.
I think no, I think there's a lot of truth, socio-cultural factors that says men ought to be able to bear certain
Mhm.
pain and tough
Yeah,
it out
yeah,
and allow women, females to go and see doctors. Of course, we know it's absurd and we know it's not true because the women are living longer, 8 to 12 years, the average wife outliving her husband. And can you imagine that? And we are internalizing all the stress because we weren't socialized to behave as human beings. Gladly no, I think we're seeing more and more men who realize this is not true, and self-care is a big thing. So I'm encouraged. Just the two of you there speaking, I think it's representing a lot of the perspectives of the man them who know that they need to go and visit doctor. Yeah.
right.
So where's the coordinate?
Yeah, man. So thank you, Pastor Paul and Sir Dwayne, for sharing men who visit the doctors, Indeed, we are coming to the position of recognizing it's not a weakness to go to the doctor. And we should stand and ensure that we live out our lives and live it long. Amen. So, Kev, we're up to that place now. We want to get into the meat of the matter called the inbox.
So, yeah, we're gonna go straight into the inbox here. This is our main segment, as stated earlier in the show. We're looking at the call for deeper male friendships. Deeper male friendships. And our special guest for today, Pastor Paul Hemmings and Dwayne Leon. Now, we have been hearing the voices of these gentlemen, but we want to get into the meat of the matter. Have you ever had a good friend, a deep friendship with a man where you can share your struggles? Have you ever had the benefit of that? Uh, Pastor Paul, is it necessary for men to have deep friendship with other men, and why? And of course, the same thing I'm gonna ask Dwayne. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is absolutely necessary. I was reading an article and it says our spouses are not enough. They're just not enough. And as men, it means that we need to align ourselves with persons of our own, quote unquote, let me just use the term species, who can identify and understand what we are going through. And so the makeup of us is that we need both sexes in our lives. We need a female friendships in our lives, and we need male friendships in our lives. And unfortunately, we do poorly with the male friendships. In fact, we mistake playing ball with a guy as my brother, as my friend, our deep friend, and when that's not it. So it's extremely important for us physically. It's important for us psychologically, mentally, spiritually. It's very important for us to carry through life.
Thanks very much, Pastor Paul. Sir Dwayne, we present the similar question to you. This deeper friendship, this deeper relationship for our men, is it something that should be encouraged? What stigmas are attached, and should we do away with those stigmas?
Essential is the word that I will start with. Essential. So as air is essential for life, I mean, deep connections are also very essential. We can't exist in like a vacuum. We are made for connection and for relationship, and that includes amongst our fellow men, if you want to call it the man them. Um, I but I don't know what I'd do without it. I'm an only child, so friendship and that sort of connection was essential for me growing up. You know what I mean? Um, my mother and father would tell you stories like when I was younger. I would go out with them, and I would literally walk up to adults and be like, "Hey, you have any children? Where are your kids?" You know, I mean, because I was yearning for connection, even as a child.
Yeah.
And I mean, I never, like I said, never have nobody around me per se. I never have no brother or sister for torment or aggravate or just love. You know what I mean? Just share time with like that. So I actually developed close friendships. I used to play team sports as well too. So there was always that understanding that yeah, together we're a team, we're a unit, and together we strive, we make things better as well too. Um, yes, there are stigmas that are attached to it because I mean we live in that kind of society. I mean, fortunately, though I believe that those things are breaking down. Kind of people that born who them two you they're too close, them two you they're too, you understand what I say? But the reality is that yeah, you need virgins around you who you can be open, honest, and real with, and that you can I want to say you can be of benefit to their lives and they can be of benefit to your lives. Because if you're not in a sort of mutually beneficial relationship, where that really going? You know what I mean? So yeah, it is an essential thing. And stigmas aside, yeah, man and man have to be virgin, and we're called to be there for one another.
Yeah. Once you start talk about it, when you go put the word deep before it, Courtney and Kevin.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. People start think, boy, you're gone down a road and now, like you're gone, you're gone below, homosexuality. In fact, in one research that was done, and the person asked a question about deep friendship, people started to assume homosexuality, because there's something about talking about having a deep friendship. And in the scriptures, it is said of Jonathan and David that they had
Yes, sir.
a love that was different, that is different from even between a man and a woman.
A man and a woman. Yeah.
Woman's love. And that has sparked a lot of debate, that has sparked a lot of controversy, saying that Jonathan and David had a homosexual relationship, because we can't appreciate deep male friendship. We can't appreciate two men say, yo, we are retreat, and the two we are alone, I go up in the hills, go pray. You understand? People just can't conceive that. What about, kind of thing. It's very, very unfortunate, and I think it has. Those are some of the lies the enemy has told us that has kind of marred and affect our relationship, man to man, kind of thing.
Paul, I was
Gentlemen, we're coming up
watching
shortly on a break in
was
another
off of a
couple of minutes.
podcast. Hello?
Not hearing you doing. Go ahead.
Oh, you hear
Go
me
ahead,
now?
Dwayne.
Yeah,
Go
sorry
ahead.
about that, guys. Yeah, man. So I was watching this podcast where you had two ex-servicemen who were talking, and one of them, they had a colleague that died in fighting with them. And when they came home, they were expressing basically their condolence to the past, to the wife of the friend who passed. And she basically said, you can't understand what I'm going through. You'll never know him like I knew him, and that kind of thing. And essentially, he was saying on the podcast that, he just kind of had to just take that, because of course that was her speaking out of the emotion that she was feeling at the time. But he said, you don't know, so we spent 12 hours basically on sniper recon right beside one another, watching on target, sharing stories. He knows her favorite colors. He knows the kids' birthdays. And he went to the point to say, boy, I this guy died bloodied in my hands. And there would have been intimate things about maybe even their marriage that he would have shared with his virgin. So he said to say that you don't know him like I do is kind of not true, but again, just the emotion at the time she would have expressed that. You know what I mean? So there's definitely connection that goes, well beyond just a bump fist and move on.
Yeah, thank you, Dwayne. I think we're gonna take a break just right about now. Faith saying from Washington Gardens. Good evening, gentlemen. Socialization, men were taught to tug it out. We take a break and then we'll be right back on the mailbox.
Man, integrity man, I am a man. Hey man, I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes.
Faithful Homes Decor is the best home decor store in Jamaica, with the most unique pieces and excellent customer service that cultivates an atmosphere of home away from home. Visit us at 20 Conta Spring Road, Mall Plaza, halfway tree, at shops 15 to 16U and 17 to 18U upstairs. Call us at 876-648-6566 or 861-4252. Faithful Homes Decor, providing elegance and comfort.
Kingdom Culture presents The Well Encounter with Maverick City's Chandler Moore and Naomi Rain, Kevin Downswell, Carlene Davis, Rondell Positive, Rhoda Isabella. Tickets at SpurOpen.com/TWE22. Supermed Pharmacies, Sangster's Bookstore, 876-676-5953. Sponsored by Clear Sound, Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Purity Chase Fund, Love 101, Race KFC. Part proceeds to Food for the Poor. The Well Encounter, Saturday, March 18th, Sabina Park, 6:30 p.m. Meet us at The Well.
When you say phosphorus, you say electrical. SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say phosphorus, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say phosphorus, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Phosphorus is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Maniville, and Montego Bay. Phosphorus. When you say phosphorus, you say electrical. SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say phosphorus, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say phosphorus, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Phosphorus is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Maniville, and Montego Bay. Phosphorus.
Kingdom Culture presents The Well Encounter with Maverick City's Chandler Moore and Naomi Rain, Kevin Downswell, Carlene Davis, Rondell Positive, Rhoda Isabella. Tickets at spuropen.com/TWE22. Supermed Pharmacies, Sangster's Bookstore, 876-676-5953. Sponsored by Clear Sound, Caledonia Outdoor Advertising, Purity Chase Fund, Love 101, Race KFC. Part proceeds to Food for the Poor. The Well Encounter, Saturday, March 18th, Sabina Park, 6:30 p.m. Meet us at the Well.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox, live on Love 101. And remember, we're also live on Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM. Remember, you can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125 or give us a call on our studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 8. We want you to know that we're talking about deeper male relationships, the stigmas, the benefits, if there are any, the disadvantages, if there are any. We want to know, what is it that is needed? Do men need deeper relationships? And here with us to answer those questions and to help us get it right, Pastor Paul Hemmings and also Dwayne, and I'm going to use his AKA, otherwise known as Ardo Leon. He is here with us. Both men are here with us to share with us. He is also Pastor Paul is one of the directors at Swallowfield Chapel, one of the directors, but he is a great speaker here and can talk about resilience and plant where you are bloomed, or bloom where you are planted. And Dwayne is a part of the men's ministry at Swallowfield Chapel as well, in a group called Mellow. Pastor Paul and Dwayne, before we left, we were talking about that relationship that men should have, the stigmas that were attached. What can we do to improve what currently exists with our men? Because indeed, role modeling, mentorship, what can we do to improve what currently exists without making it over spiritual? Yes, we're playing football. Yes, we're playing dominoes, but those seem to be very fairly platonic relationships. Can we have a David and Jonathan relationship? You know, I have a brother-in-law. One day we walked to the bus stop and he put his arm around my shoulder and there was a crowd behind us, and we recognized when he said something in my ear, the crowd backed off a bit. And I had to turn to him and say, brethren, you know say you're married. Me know say I'm married. They're in a church, the 12 children, but the people them behind us don't know. Slowly remove your arm from my shoulder. Tell us, can we truly get past this, and how can we improve it that it doesn't seem the way?
I'm going to do it go first. I'm going to plug in my charger.
You want Dwayne to go first, all right?
I'm going to plug in my charger.
The pastor, the senior elder statesman, has passed it over to you.
Yeah, man, pass the touch. Yeah. Let me see. I would, all right. So in the Jamaican context, right? If we hear the word deep, as you had alluded to first, we're probably going to kind of get a little shaky. We're going to be like, yo, what kind of thing you're going with? But if we use the word real connections, real relationships, you know what I mean? Maybe even that might be for some amongst us who can't move past certain words. that might be a start. But for me, one of the main things is to, I think, work on you as an individual, is very crucial to any kind of relationship, whether it be with your spouse, or you just your friends in general. You know what I mean? And I say that to say, when you bring the best version of yourself to a relationship, it is always something that makes it better. So working on you, working towards being the best version of yourself, and also bearing in mind the friend that you would want somebody to be to you. um you can start thinking about, am I being that type of person to my brethren, to the people who I hold dear and who are close to me? You know what I mean? So that is, I think that's a good starting point. That's a good point, a good place to jump out from. You know what I mean? Am I being my best self? Yeah. And am I bringing my best self to the relationships that I have? And as well, am I being the friend to others that I want them to be to me? Because we all have an idea of how we want to be treated, and we want to be loved and cared for that way. So I think that's a good place to start from.
Mm.
Yeah, so let me just piggyback and then jump into what I want to say. This whole self-awareness is very important, because when you understand that like I personally, I know I am very comfortable with my who I am and my sexuality. I don't may not have them kind of phobia there and them foolishness there. No, mind you, I'm mindful in certain situations what I do, but I don't have that kind of hang up kind of a thing. Maybe because of how I was raised. And so I jump into that because what I find is that um let's say the fatherlessness, it affect we, big time. And when a youth don't know what it is for a father to hug him, and a father to kiss him on him forehead, and a father to say I love you, and a father to make him lie down in him chest and in belly and so on. So all of a sudden you develop these kind of phobias. Now I'm not saying that all of those things your father used to do, you must make a man to you necessarily. But what it does, it makes you secure in who you are, and you can appreciate healthy male um, intimacy, touch, talk, and so on. And so, if you're talking about Courtney changing a culture and changing a mindset, it may have to start with us, with our own boys, our own sons. I practice to kiss my sons from time to time in them forehead, and to when I hug them, I draw them close to my breast. I make them lay down, on it, kind of a thing. The other day I was moved when my son came in the room. Might have been my birthday because it was in January, and he kissed me on my forehead, and that thing nearly made me cry. You know what I mean? And so the point I'm making is, if you get them to understand what a healthy touch is, what an unhealthy touch is, kind of a thing, and them to understand that as a male their father, you two, they have this relationship which is a practice for them, a male relationship which is a practice for them. Then they can develop deep, and as the doing afraid of the word, real uh, male friendships, which don't, it's not impure.
Yes.
My wife used to teach my boys from them little good touch and bad touch, so they know what them thing that what those are, kind of thing. Yeah.
So Pastor Paul, you're talking about touch, and many people confuse every physical touch with being erotic, instead of being affectionate and this connection. So we have to keep teaching our boys that as well. I think we have a video that we want to show a clipping and get the perspectives, gentlemen. And so I think we're going to be having this now, Courtney, to take a look at the video, and then we'll have
Well,
some
let's
comments.
see if they have it ready. You know, they're
Yeah.
trying.
Men need
There's
to get
some
better at.
technical
This
issues,
was
but let's
absolutely shocking
see
to
if
me.
they're ready.
I
Are we
watched a
ready,
TV
studio?
drama
Yes,
series
here it is.
called A Million Little Things. It's about four men who were always together at every sports event, at every family event. These guys knew each
We're
other
presenting
for
a
over
video
10
here
years. In
for those
their
who are
eyes,
listening.
they were
We
best
want you
friends.
to listen
Then on
up.
this terrible day, one of them ended his life. The other three guys were devastated, not only by the death of their friend, but more so from the fact that they had no idea what was really going on in their friend's life. Right at that moment, they all realized the friendships they had with each other had no depth. They spent so much time together, but didn't even know each other because they never talked about their personal struggles. They had no idea that their friend was suffering from depression. The first episode hit me like a ton of bricks, and I started questioning the depth of the relationships I had with my male friends. Right away, I phoned three of my closest friends and I convinced them to go to a restaurant that night. At the restaurant, I told my friends about this TV drama and suggested that we should all start sharing a little bit more about ourselves so we can be more supportive towards each other, like true friends. As soon as I said this, one of my friends interjected and said, "Okay, I'll go first." And he said this: "Every time I go home, I feel lonely." We were stunned that he said this because he was always so upbeat. The next guy told us about some serious health challenges that he was going through. And my third friend told us about his marriage was falling apart. We had no idea. Men need to encourage each other into opening up about what is happening in their lives to their close male friends and family members, and know that when they share their struggles and concerns, that they're actually creating a safe environment for their friends to do the same. If your friends ever need help, by doing this, you'll open that door for them to get that support from you.
Gentlemen, having seen the video,
Wow.
Pastor Hemmings, share just your take on it and perspective.
Yeah, that's moving. And the whole suicide part and so on, and that's frightening because as men, when we come together, many times we're either talking politics, religion, or sports. And those things are things that are happening out there and not affecting in here, kind of thing. So that's the usual thing to do. We like to, as men, we like to qualm each other and take swipes at each other and make fun of each other, kind of a thing. And we tend to see the negatives in each other first. We can't see a brethren with a nice shirt and say, "Brethren, really love the shirt." Then when you finish with it, don't even wash it, just give it to me. Me like your shoe. It's difficult for us. We rather point out something about the pants too tight, you know what I mean? So that thing about encouraging men, we don't do that. And like I said, we stay at the surface whilst we can come to a football game and have a good time and go on back in our pain and wallow in our pain. We can come to a forum and we chat about our sort of things, talk about our Manchester United and the EPL kind of a thing, and never ever get deep. And we think we're friends, and we tell people, "Them man, I'm a friend, I'm a bridging them," but we never ever get deep in. So that's a reality, and I can identify with it. And so we need to be on a quest now to find more deeper and lasting friendships that can spare us some of these horrors that could happen to us.
Dwayne, we heard Pastor Paul. Thanks. You know, one of the men after hearing what happened suggested that they come together and share together, go and watch a movie and sit down and chat. I want us, because we're up on a break, right after this break, to talk about how it is that we can repair, restore the relationships as men. Yeah, that indeed we can have these deep, compassionate, words with those and free to loving relationships that are not stigmatized. And the word I want to use is that are pure. So we come back after this break for a final segment on the mailbox.
Strong man, integrity man, I am a man. Hey man.
electrical, SWA cables, conduits, transformers, and breakers. When you say Fosrich, you say lighting, chandeliers, and more. When you say Fosrich, you say LEDs and solar water heaters. Fosrich is electrical, lighting, solar, and LEDs. Visit us today, Kingston, Maniville, and Montego Bay. Fosrich.
Taste the cheese for every moment, this is the season. And there could be no other reason. One thing will bring the family and friends them closer. I must taste the cheese, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. One taste is all you need that you never let go. Taste the cheese, 1 in a million, you know how we go. Just can't get enough, I need more than one slice. Taste the cheese, make all the moments then nice.
Easter's never the same without tasty cheese. So go ahead, share those special moments with Tasty Cheese, the cheese for every moment.
Welcome back to the mailbox.
Welcome back to.
Yes, Courtney, it's time for our junk mail. We're gonna spend a minute or two before we get back into the meat of the matter. Yes, and we have to get the perspective of Pastor Paul Hemmings and Dwayne Hardo Leon, both men from Solofield Chapel. So we're talking about men who are bullies. What's happening there? And a perspective on that, Pastor Paul. What's your take on that?
Men who are bullies are really cowards. You know, you by bullying you tend to go on the offensive first, so as not to be attacked. That's how I see bullying. So, men who bully and they tend to bully persons who they can manage, kind of thing. So it shows us it's a sign of weakness. It's a sign of softness, ironically. So bullying is never ever the way to go. Shouting, cowing down, using physical strength and so on is never ever the way to go. I know our master, how him sure the thing must go. It's not brute force. It's the kingdom of God, you know, is different, or the kingdom operate. And I think we have to take a cue from how the kingdom operate as to how our lives should operate. So that's my little take on bullyism. It's really an act of cowardice.
Thanks very much, Pastor Paul. Dwayne, your take on this one?
Totally agree with Paul in terms of it being cowardice and thing. Funny enough, bullying taught me how to fight when I was younger. I used to get bullied. I used to have a very bright birthmark in my face, and I used to get teased for it. You know, you have a disease, you have this, all kind of thing. You know, picnic can ramp rough. And I just remember being kind of, again, only child, you get bullied as a child. And you know, one day 2 bullies kind of confronted me, and it's that day them learn how to fight and beat up the 2 of them. Actually, I was chasing them back out into the driveway of the school and them kind of thing there. So you learn your footing. But those are the things that kind of it's par for the course. I don't like bullying. I don't like to see it. I don't like seeing people taken advantage of that way. Because again, a lot of the times it speaks to an insecurity that person has, and it's a way of taking the limelight off of themselves and putting it onto somebody else, and it's also a way of escape for them because they are so wrapped up in their insecurity that they don't even want to confront themselves. You know what I mean? So instead of confronting themselves, they turn it outwards and confront somebody else over something that probably don't even pertain to them at all. You know what I mean? So when you look at those things, I mean, the truth be told, I believe that bullies should be resisted, but it's not necessary. It don't have to be a battle. It don't have to be a fight, because a soft answer always turns away wrath as well, right? So when I say resist it, I don't necessarily mean you have to confront them the same way. You don't have to match their energy, right? You know, it could be something as to say, bro, what go on? You know, why so angry? You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, just turning it the other way, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for good words there, gentlemen. You know, there's a term
Thanks
called
very
the
much,
skill
Dwayne
set.
and Pastor Paul. I think we put it well together and want to the next couple of minutes. But time run out and us, time run fast, Kevin. These days I don't know. Said unless the days were cut short, even the very elect could be deceived. Gentlemen, what does a pure, deep relationship man to man look like? Does it look like two men walking down the road holding hands? What should a pure, deep relationship with men look like? And how is it that we can restore the true meaning that God would have us to have as men living lives that are pure yet deep? Dwayne, I want to start with you and then come to Pastor Paul.
I think one of the key things here is to honor your brethren. Um, whoever you have that friendship with. And when I say honor them, um, that video spoke about creating a safe space, right?
Mm.
Now, any relationship that you're going to move to another level involves the taking of risks. So there are going to have to be things that you're going to be willing to share now that you might not have shared before. You know what I mean? And truth be told, if somebody is sharing something that they've never shared with me before, something that might be very close and dear to their heart, something that might make them vulnerable as well, I have to be honorable enough to know that this is not something that I'm going to take and essentially use against or weaken the person. I'm supposed to be edifying them. You know what I mean? So what they choose to share with me now, I'm supposed to be honoring and respecting the fact that they've chosen to share this with me and to pour into them. Again, I think it comes back to what are we intaking that we can pour back out into our brethren. You know what I mean? And like I said, to begin that process, it is definitely going to involve taking a risk. And you have to know who you can trust with that in taking that risk. You know what I mean? That because it's almost like it's a covenant type relationship. It's as deep as that. You know, I will share this. There was a point in time that I was struggling. My marriage was struggling. Everything was struggling, and a brethren of mine flew to where I was because I wasn't in Jamaica to assist me with that project, with that when I said project, with just getting me back on a steady ground. And to me, Virgin Boy, that licked me for six. I don't know, who would be willing to take a plane for come over there for come make sure that the Virgin good. Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful, Dwayne.
That
And
real boss.
yeah,
That
and
real. I
the
tell
thing
you.
is, you were able to open up to him. You made
Mhm.
yourself vulnerable so that he knew what was happening. Pastor Paul, how do we do that as men? Because we have our pride. We want to appear confident that everything in control, that we are man and we're on top of things. How does the church help in that way? And who would initiate that, Pastor Paul? Would it be the leader? How you get men to reach that kind of a place of vulnerability? So if them suicidal, if them have life reversals in them finances, if them relationships going awry and them at the brink that them would find another man. How we do that?
Boy, as leaders, we have to model it. We have to become vulnerable in and of ourselves. Our master, the Lord Jesus, was very vulnerable. He wasn't afraid to cry. And at least 3 times in the scriptures, we hear of him crying. And the writers were prepared to let us know he cried. At one point, he cried till his tears became, his sweat. He was in such agony that his sweat became droplets of blood. And that was when he called 3 of his close friends to be with him. So vulnerability. Vulnerability was sort of taught to me and I saw men in my life who were vulnerable before me and taught me how to be vulnerable as well. But if men are going to be close to each other, I use David and Jonathan as a case study in my mind right now. And there are some things that coming to me as relates to that. Men have to learn how to look another man in the face. Now, I know that sounds very, very feminine and softish, but we have to, you
Very
see,
anti-Jamaican culture.
yes, but we have to move from being shoulder to shoulder to being square on
Face
and
to
looking
face.
each other in the face. And I think David and Jonathan, when they sat at the table of Saul, Jonathan's daddy, I'm sure they sat almost shoulder to shoulder in a sense. But there came a point in David's life and Jonathan, they had to just be face to face when they were making that kind of covenant. It's face to face kind of covenant. You have to hold the space for sharing without judgment. So you don't judge each other. You don't try to say, boy, minimize what another person is going through, and that's why you do it, and that's why this happened to you. But just being there. Job friend started out well, the scripture says for 7 days the man in the sun, and that was the best part of
I'm a
Job life
listener.
until the man opened them out, So if we withhold judgment, you have to learn how to even to say what the other one don't want to say. In other words, a challenge. And men like a challenge, That's why we have coaches on a team, The coach tell you what you don't want to hear, So that because, and I think we don't understand that men like that. We like that kind of a challenge. That's why men like the army. Because in the army it's tough kind of a thing. So we have to learn how to be tough with each other as well. I put it this way. This is something for my sons. I want to give them a kiss and I want to give them a kick. And you have to know for balance. Kiss and a kick is necessary. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. Tough and tender. Tough and tender. I'll share a prayer with you that we want to use in Mellow at the end of the program. I also be there for each other when you are down. David and Jonathan again. And they were there for each other when David especially was down, and David was there for Jonathan when Jonathan was down, when Jonathan literally dead. David said, is there anyone left of the household of Saul that I might show kindness for Jonathan's sake? You understand what I say? Because the man them had such a time, and this is, by the way, this is after 20 to 25 years, David remember the covenant we make with him, bridge, That's how deep it was them be, And finally, root for each other to become the best man that you can be. What's interesting about the David and Jonathan scenario is that Jonathan, who would have been a natural heir to the throne, said to David almost, me no want to know, me not interested. Are you are the king? I mean, I'll help you reach and watch no face. Not even daddy, I come between you. Come take it. Me, I'm gonna make sure say you get this thing. And that's just friendship at its best. So nobody come confuse the thing and talk about the man them gay and all this. No, not like that. The man just have the man, as they Ardo put it, the man have a honor, a trust, and a respect for each other. And so
wow. It looked like a part 2 business this Courtney.
Yes, because time is finished. Can you do the prayer to close us?
Okay, and I see a comment here
and
from
we have a couple
Cherry.
of comments from Cherry.
Yeah. It says Cherry says men need to open up and let go of the stigma and get deep, talk how they feel, express themselves. Sometimes not even their very wives they talk to. Encourage each other in a positive, kind, and good way. Restore a friend from doing the wrong thing or making the wrong choice. Yes. We're gonna have the poem now, Paul, and then see. Yeah, Carl, we're almost out of time.
Yeah, man. The prayer says that simple thing I want
20
you to say.
seconds.
It says, God, make me a man with thick skin and soft heart. Make me a man with tough and tender. Make me tough so I can handle life. Make me tender so I can love people. God, make me a man. I just simple that.
Amen. What a better way to close the program. Thank you very much, Pastor Paul and Dwayne. Thanks to our production, Bernard, to Butler for technical support, and to our listeners, to our special guests again, Dwayne and Pastor Paul Hemmings. We thank you. Kev.
Yes, one of thanks to our sponsor, First Rich Company Limited. This was the program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by yours truly, Kevin Bailey and Courtney Morrison. So thanks, gentlemen.
Catch you next week, same place, same time, inside the mailbox. Monday. Bless up.
Monday,
Next week.